Hey everybody, how are you all doing today? This is going to be more of a casual discussion video about Nod-Krai, all the things I'm hyped and excited about, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments as always. I've already made a couple videos breaking down the trailers and teasers we've gotten about Nod-Krai, and believe me, there's a lot to go over, and there still is. They have given us so much lore in the last month, the 4 Shades, Nod-Krai, and that really is the whole point of this video. I just want to break down just the sheer amount of things we have to be hyped and excited about. It might seem like a bold claim to say that Nod-Krai is peak already when we haven't even played it yet, but the amount of stuff they've showed us so far that we're getting is crazy on its own, but there's stuff that's implied we're getting too, and things I'm excited about that aren't actually discussed in these trailers. I guess what it all boils down to, I can finally express my excitement and kind of geek out about Nod-Krai because the videos I've made covering Nod-Krai so far are from a content creator's perspective, trying to look for Easter eggs, lore bits, try to come up with theories, but this video I want to be from a player's perspective because I am a player of this game too, and I just felt this is my chance to express all the things I'm excited about. Let's just start with the characters. I mean, come on. We got Barca, who we've been waiting for since 2020. We've had so many awesome voice lines. He's been the Grand Master of Mondstadt, the most nostalgic region in this entire game, along with all those characters that have talked about him for years. He's going to be an Anemo Claymore DPS, most likely. He's going to be Anemo Claymore for sure. His design is badass. I know a lot of people think that he might be a little bit too young, but honestly, he could easily be like in his mid-30s or early 40s. It's an anime-style game, so it's really hard to say, but I like his design. And he's definitely somebody that I'm gonna have to pull for. I've been waiting too long not to. Unless my memory is foggy right now, I think we only have Sayu as an Anemo Claymore, and Anemo is my favorite element. Not to mention, I have an R3 Wolf's Gravestone with Varka's name all over it. I cannot freaking wait. Alice is another character that's been talked about since the beginning of this game, one of the most mysterious and powerful figures in all of Teyvat. If Teyvat is this big storybook like Simulanka sorta hinted at, Alice is obviously a direct reference to Alice in Wonderland. There's so much mystery to Alice in general. Her design is awesome, but besides the actual mystery of Alice, she looks like she's gonna be a badass pyro DPS. I can't wait to pair her and Klee together, even if they have no synergy. Klee is the first limited 5-star I ever pulled on, and got. Then there's Nicole, another Hexen Circle witch, who also looks incredible. And it's not just the fact that we're getting these characters, we're gonna get voice lines if they're playable, which will give us even more lore, character stories potentially, and we're gonna guaranteed learn more about the Hexen Circle, because we barely know anything about the Hexen Circle. And we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg here, because we're getting 3 Fatui Harbingers, not even counting the Wanderer, who's an ex-Fatui Harbinger, with a bunch of different plot lines here. The Wanderer has some unfinished business with the Doctor. That's gonna be a whole story in itself. Sandrone being the main Harbinger here. We're finally gonna learn more about her, and what makes her tick, no pun intended. And of course, Columbina, with her own version or replica of a statue of the Seven. Nod-Krai is going to be unlike any nation we've been to before. Just for that alone. Who Columbina is, how she connects to the gods, the moons, and Celestia. She is heavily leaked and implied to be a Hydro character, probably a support. And because she has her own statue and she's more like the Archon goddess of Nod-Krai, she is basically like Nod-Krai's version of an Archon. I could go on and on about the lore implications of all Fatui Harbingers and their potential stories here, their character voice lines. Oh man, even the animated trailers we're gonna get of these characters. But from even a gameplay perspective, we're gonna get a lot of these characters playable, which is insane. I have never played a new region where I want to pull on this many characters, it's crazy. And not just the Fatui Harbingers, the Hexen Circle, and the Grand Master, but even the Nod-Krai characters look phenomenal. There's different factions, we're gonna get 5 and 4-star characters from all of them, and they all look incredible in their own way. And not just the characters, but we're gonna learn more about these factions and how they all tie in together to the lore of Nod-Krai and the moons. You know, the Snowland Fae, the Frost Moon Scions. How clearly in Nod-Krai you have these ancient species that are clashing with the more industrial side of Nod-Krai. And even though we're not going to Snezhnaya yet, we're going to learn more about the Cryo Archon and the previous Cryo Archon, the one before the Tsaritsa. Because the Snowland Fae and the Frost Moon Scions, we're very close to the previous Cryo Archon. And besides the main story or the Archon quest, the character quest that we're gonna get, and all of these top tier characters coming together all at once, all of the world quests in Nod-Krai are going to be absolutely peak too. How can they not be? All of them are probably going to tell us insane lore on the inner workings of Nod-Krai and the history here. The Fatui Harbingers are embedded in Nod-Krai, so we're going to get world quest lore about them. Obviously the Scions and the Snowland Fae. And basically all the lore on the moons and what happened back then, because this is the chapter and region focused on the moons. The bulk of that lore that we don't know is going to come in Nod-Krai. Like, just from a lore standpoint, Nod-Krai is going to be an all-you-can-eat buffet. They reveal the 4 shades to us, which was nuts. Dragons were a big part in Natlan, and now it's going to transition into Nod-Krai. We got Mini Durin here. We got 2 Hexen Circle Witches revealed, with a bunch of lore gonna come from that. Mondstadt's Grandmaster and Expedition team is here, along with Albedo, which opens the door to have more Mondstadt characters potentially cameo or come into the story at some point. Multiple Fatui Harbingers, a potential clash here, Columbina probably already rogue from the Harbingers. Like what the captain said in Natlan, the Fatui Harbingers have the authority from the Tsaritsa to fulfill their own ambitions over her will. Columbina clearly having heavy ties to Nod-Krai and its history, while Sandrone and Iltadore spearheading the more industrial side of Nod-Krai, probably encroaching too much on Nod-Krai and wearing out their welcome. And because Sandrone is more than likely from Fontaine, we'll probably even get to know her origins and how she's connected probably to the Narcissenkroins. And we haven't even talked about the landscape yet, the atmosphere. Nod-Krai, just from what we've seen, looks beautiful. Now, I have to admit that pretty much every nation we've went to was aesthetically pleasing and beautiful. They never do a bad job when it comes to that. And the music, oh my god. Just from the few tracks I've heard from Nod-Krai already, I'm not going to play them in this video obviously because I'm not trying to get copyrighted here, but believe me when I tell you, the music is going to be insane. And Columbina singing is both majestic and terrifying at the same time. It's so unsettling yet soothing. If they don't release her own album or couple songs, I'm gonna be pissed. We already have her sinister song that she sang at La Senora's funeral, back before Sumeru dropped, and another one here in this trailer, but so much potential here. The music is going to be flawless in this region. Genshin never misses the mark with its music. And because all these important pieces are coming together in Nod-Krai, it just makes the music and atmosphere hit that much better. I'm even excited for the events that we're going to get in Nod-Krai and the collabs, like other nations coming to Nod-Krai and the events. Not to mention the overworld mechanics, the traversing gimmicks, the puzzles to collect chests. Nod-Krai isn't one of the 7 nations, so it's going to be vastly different than what we've experienced before. Just the exploration of wandering around finding secrets, reading the artifact lore in this region. Like, I'm going to be pulling characters right off the bat. Luma's going to be a 5-star Dendro Catalyst in 6.0 apparently. I love Dendro reactions, so I'm going to be pulling for her for sure. She's obviously going to be so important to the main story and lore of Nod-Krai, I cannot wait. And if Columbina's Hydro, perfect. I'm going to pair them together with Alice when she becomes playable. Maybe I throw Varka in there too. And then Flynn's from the Lightkeepers looks enticing too, an Electro 5-star. Durin's gonna be a 5-star. The fact that they can release the Grandmaster, 2 Hexen Circle characters, multiple Fatui Harbingers in this region, and yet still make new Nod-Krai characters very enticing to pull, says it all right there. And to boot, unlike Natlan, it seems more than likely, I want to knock on wood here, but it seems like they solved the VA issue. So no more characters that don't have voice lines in the main Archon quest. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was very jarring at times, and it's obviously unfortunate, especially in the main Archon quest, to have characters silent, while other characters have voice acting. They got this issue solved, so we shouldn't have that issue in Nod-Krai at all, which is honestly such a relief. I'm even excited for the new overworld enemies, bosses. With this many Fatui Harbingers, you know that one of them's gonna at least be a weekly boss. Will it be Iltadore? Will we finally get to see him in action? How is his story going to develop with the Wanderer? Like, what happens there? Will it be Sandrone? Has Columbina truly left and betrayed the Fatui? Now they're here to retrieve her? And how will all the lore we get in Nod-Krai, Columbina, the moons, the greater history of Teyvat and Celestia tie into Project Stuja and what's happening in Snezhnaya? Will we get even more Harbingers? Will Tartaglia show up? Will we get even more Harbingers show up? And that's not even talking about Piero. He might even finally cameo in Nod-Krai or have some kind of teaser leading up to Snezhnaya in 7.0. Because after Nod-Krai, it's the Cryo region, then Conria, and then Celestia. Like, there's no downtime or boring patches from here on out. Like I said before, I think the events, even the filler parts of Nod-Krai in the middle of the patch between 6.0 and 7.0 are still going to be jam-packed with cool character interactions, lore bits, and then there's the Pyronosis. How are they going to collect that? Unless that randomly happens in 5.8 that drops later today, which I doubt, they still have to collect the Pyronosis from Malvika at some point. How's that gonna look and how's that gonna happen? That could potentially be something that happens after the main arc conquest in Nod-Krai, so even the filler patches like 6.5, 6.4 are still going to have a crazy story. The fact that 2 Hexen Circle witches are here in person alone confirms how important Nod-Krai's lore is gonna be. We might even see some more Hexen Circle witches appear, like Barbara Loth. Get some more history on the ones that are deceased. I actually do plan on making a full Hexen Circle lore video very soon. And I also think I might make a summary video going over the entire story of Teyvat up until Nod-Krai just for a giant refresher for everyone that wants it. But I wanted this video just to be going over all the things I'm excited about, hyped about, just let it all soak in what we're about to get, the magnitude of everything we're about to get, and why I truly do think this is the peak of Genshin Impact. Like, we're in the good days now. Some people liked Sumeru, some didn't, some liked Inazuma, some didn't, Liyue, Fontaine, Natlin, but when it comes to Nod-Krai and everything I named, like, there is not much to dislike here. The atmosphere, the music, the world puzzles, new enemies, the lore, the artifacts, textbooks, things to explore and uncover, a region with no Archon, ancient civilizations and species, Fatui Harbingers, greater implications of the 4 shades, the moons, the truth of Teyvat and what's really going on, all these big names and great characters. There's just so much to be excited about when it comes to Nod-Krai. And then right after Nod-Krai, what happens? Snezhnaya. I'm excited to learn more about the Cryo Archons here as well, just from the overworld lore and from the character story lore that we get. Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm not going to have any Primo Gems left by the time Nod-Krai's over. And because there's so many S-tier banger characters that you have to look forward to that's going to be playable in banners, there's not going to be a single dull patch where it's a skippable patch, really. And 5.8 is going to drop tomorrow night, which means we'll have one patch left. One singular patch separating us from Nod-Krai. And even 5.8 looks to be good. What's got you excited about Nod-Krai? What are you most looking forward to? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, but thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and as always, we will see you all in the next one. Later.